So why was nobody going to tell me that the protein listed on the product is not the protein that you're getting? Let me break it down for you. According to the FDA on FDA.com, right? The percentage daily value is 2,000 calories, right? For the protein, it's 50 grams. 50 grams is way less for me too, but they count the percentage value as 50 grams of protein. But theoretically, if something has 25 grams of protein in it, that should account for how much? 50%. Stay with me here. 50% of your daily value protein intake. If something is 10 grams of protein, it should be how much? 20%. Thank you so much. So come to find out, my big boy plant-based protein is 20 grams of protein. For 20 grams of protein, my percentage daily value should be 40%. This is 27%. That basically means that only 27% is digestible according to the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, the PDCAAS.
Almost, not quite. So it's true that the reference for the daily percentages is a 2,000 calorie diet. He later uses an example of a Fairlife protein shake that's 42 grams of protein. I think he's trying to show that animal-based proteins are better, but because of the PDCAAS, there's no adjustability needed for a whey protein. But a plant-based substitute might need it, and here's why. The percentage provided is actually what's required for you to reach your protein goal using only that source of protein. But because I'm very boring to listen to, how about I shift this over to someone who's a lot more well-versed in plant-based diets, and they can help educate you on why this is a little bit misleading.
Hey there. So the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score is often misunderstood. It's actually not strictly a measure of protein digestibility. To put it as simply as I can, it's essentially a measure of how much of the least prevalent amino acid you would get from that source. And if you're confused, let me explain what I mean by that. Proteins are made up of amino acids, and there are 9 that are deemed essential, meaning we need to consume them in our diet. Animal proteins tend to contain a fairly balanced ratio of those essential amino acids, with the exception of collagen, which has 0 tryptophan.
Got him!
But plant sources can be more varied. For example, while beans contain all of the 9 essential amino acids, as do all other whole plant foods, they tend to contain less of the amino acid methionine, while on the other hand, grains tend to contain more of the methionine but less lysine. So if you were to only consume beans and get 50 grams of protein, you actually wouldn't meet your daily value because you wouldn't be getting enough methionine. That is not because you're only absorbing half of the protein. In fact, if we look at actual measures of digestibility, whole legumes like beans, lentils, and so on tend to score in the 80s, while other plant protein sources like tofu, soy milk, seitan, and isolated proteins can score well into the 90s. And that's comparable to, or in some cases, even higher than certain animal protein sources. So the PDCAAS scores are really only relevant if you're relying on a single food for the vast majority of your protein, in which case you may not get enough of a specific amino acid, but that's a non-issue if you eat more than one food, which I hope you all do, or you just eat more protein.